Welcome back, everybody. You're with us here at Cape Rugby TV. We're in studio with Munib Levy, SK Warmers, and Ashraf Joseph, chairperson of Hamediehs Rugby Football Club. Munib, you've been involved in the world of club rugby for a long time now. SK Warmers, there's like a vibe going on there. From a season point of view, is it still too early to gauge what the season is going to look like? Because a lot of guys have been talking about their friendlies, they're strategizing already, the clubs that they're going to take on. I mean, we know that behind the scenes, everybody's talking.
Yeah, I just have to, we like to keep the people grounded. I've told people, as hard as we are preparing, don't forget the other teams are also preparing. So we're not an island on our own. You understand, we must always be conscious of that fact.
Yeah.
So, but I must say, a much better preparation for this season compared to last season. Like I told you, I think earlier, we had a very good off-season, which was surprisingly for me very well attended, and we're having a good pre-season. So we're optimistic, but like I say, the other teams are preparing just.
Well, I was going to ask you that. I'm going to come to Ashraf about this as well, because we've seen such a progress with hamediehs in the last 2 years. Every year, in fact, and that's my real question, is the standard of rugby every year is just getting higher and higher. We spoke about this 5 years ago, we spoke about this 10 years ago. Everybody's improved.
But you could, and just to interject this, sorry, I watch Facebook all the time, and the clubs put their updates, and the one thing that I've noticed, that probably most of the clubs had off-seasons, which previously you've never seen.
Yes. Yeah.
But now I've been following, and I was telling someone the other day, I think clubs has realized in order to compete, we have to prepare adequately. And I mean, I'm thinking about pre-season, off-seasons. Clubs has been going, I look at Violets, for example, also I've been following them, and they've been having that, and they're training it, but all the clubs are doing it.
Yeah.
And that's why you see the improvements.
So, I mean, I'm going to come back to that, but for you guys from a hamediehs point of view, and it's nothing maybe to do with coaches, but things have changed in terms of facilities have changed, technology has changed, administration behind the scenes has changed. All of these things has made the game stronger, faster, more advanced, and it's not as easy anymore necessarily, because it's not, you can't just make one club strong, because while the one club is getting strong, the other club's also getting stronger. But you guys have had, especially in the last 2 years, you've had a sort of a major shift. It's almost like as if hamediehs hit a new gear.
Yeah, JP, I think you referring to about 2 years. I'll take it back to the last decade. And I think fundamentally it happened when we started our junior structure.
Right.
And then from there, it sort of spiraled, and the growth rate, I think it sort of outgrew a few of us, how rapidly hamediehs grew over the years. And if you look at what is the measuring tools or the successes behind that, it is firstly we speaking about passionate people that has a defined goal, has alignment in what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
And then you just see mushrooming from there with the community, and everybody just, you know, it's like that, putting the shoulder to the wheel.
Yeah.
That old, sometimes we yes, as we are evolving, and as technology is growing and changing, you always need to, we speak about something like trending.
Yeah.
You always need to be trending, you know, you always need to be on top of everything, whether it's your rugby, whether it's your administration, on all levels. And I think holistically, as an organization or as a club, we have looked at all those different aspects. You know, culture, what type of culture? How do we grow a culture that we want to achieve?
I often wonder, where do you guys find all the time for this? Because this is a lot of meetings. It's a lot of coordinating. I mean, Munib, you all know, but you've got to organize. You've got to organize meeting rooms. You've got to WhatsApp people to say there's a meeting. I mean, behind the scenes, admin is time consuming.
Yeah, definitely. You know, technology helps a lot now with the WhatsApp chats, with this and that and the other. So your meetings can take place in different formats.
Yeah.
But you know, like I always say, you know, when it comes to hamediehs and the amount of time we give, you know, if that was our jobs, we'd probably be billionaires today. So, but this is because there's a sense of fulfillment in service, and in being in service of your community. And I think if you knuckle it down to the basics of why we do this, you know, the social development aspect.
There's your value add that we were talking about earlier on, is the you know, what's the value that one gets out of sport. But folks, we have to go to a game. This is, of course, Brackenfell against SK Warmers. Then we bring Munib Levy into the picture and we start finding out what the season is potentially going to look like. Here we go. Just some of the highlights there from Brackenfell match against SK Warmers. Munib, going back, let's talk a little bit about going back 2024 into the season. And again, it's a testimony that no games were easy games. But what we did see is that almost all of the games had very close margins. You know, and at no stage did we look at any club game and think, "Wow, this is bad rugby." Every game, when you step back from it, was amazing players and good games of rugby.
And I can't remember the exact number, but about 6 or 7 games we lost by 7 points or less.
Yeah.
And there's 3 specific games which we lost in the last 5 minutes. I mean, it sticks out. It sticks out in my head. And the other thing which we did last year was, if you looked at our team, you would have seen there was about 6, 7 youngsters in 22 and under who's been making their debut in the first team that year. But we specifically did it that way because we've got an aging team also, and we needed to blood in the youngsters. And I must admit, we took the gamble and say, we're just going to play these youngsters week in and out for them to gain experience, which will help them for the season.
But there has to be, from a club leadership point of view, at some other stage, you've got to take the jump.
Yeah.
You've got to say, right, you know, it's fading now. And the next 6 months or a year might be difficult, but you've got to take the jump.
Let me tell you, we tactically did it and just said, let's do it and see how far we get.
And now
it paid up for us.
You've got a few youngsters that have come through the ranks now, and they're showing their merit.
You know, we've got the youngsters through the ranks, but the other thing that's been happening, which is amazing to me, was we've attracted boys from Bishops and Sachs who played in the first teams last year that actually decided to join SKW.
Yeah.
To me, that's amazing. So something good must be happening, but we've changed the coaching structure, but also, and sometimes new faces is good, and that can be an attraction.
Ashraf, before we go to the next segment, in 15 seconds for you, what was your highlight of 2024?
Well, 2024, I mean, we had ambition to be promoted and to fall just short in the quarterfinals. I think that was a success in itself. Because,
okay. All right, folks, so we're going to talk about hamediehs when we come back from the break. Don't go away.